the scripture that talks about when I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil.
Yeah.
I'm going to highlight the word walk.
Yeah.
It doesn't say, even though when I sit in the valley, right? It
That's
says when I
good.
walk through. So
Yeah.
there's like a motion there. And it's saying that like the Lord is there
Yeah.
and that we can fear no evil,
Yeah.
even in the valleys, even in the tough times and challenges that we'll face. You know, he is there with us and he'll never leave us nor forsake us.
Yeah.
So that's just also a highlight to walk.
Yeah.
An urgency there. Whenever I read that scripture in that way, I thought, that is really cool that it doesn't say sit or lying down. Yeah.
Or for
Or
me, I'm so glad it doesn't say run. Like,
yeah,
I don't want it to say run, Tamra. Just walk, okay? I'm a
me either.
speed walker. I love to speed walk. I think
Yep.
I would have people who would in high school, because I would wear heels in high school. It's so ridiculous. I hope my kids don't do that. Anyway, especially my kids. My daughter, let's be specific. Definitely my son will not be wearing heels in high school. My daughter, but they would say, Tamra, I knew you were in the hallway because I heard you walking because I was so fast. And they'd be like, Tamara's coming. Tamara's coming. And since I was little, I'd get out of bed and I'd be like, dun, 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 dun. My parents were like, Tamara's awake. Tamara's coming. And I'm like, can I just slow down? If I learn the rhythms of grace connected to his pace, which is my constant just prayer with the Lord, and like, God, I just want to be in
Yeah.
tandem with you. That's where the yoke is easy. If I get out in front, I'm going to be pulling and it's going to be tense and it's going to be hard and I'm going to feel frustrated. Or same thing, that lethargic. I don't necessarily have that problem at all, actually. And so I'm never being dragged by Jesus. I'm usually like, let's go, Lord. What are you doing back there? And
Yep.
he's just like, you're funny, Tamra. I'm actually way over here. How about you get in line?
Yes. Yes. Oh, I'm so glad you can relate. That's like building that relatability too. It's like
Yes.
whenever you're saying that, that's me. That's me.
It's so
And
necessary.
I'll probably never like master it. I think that's also the thing where understanding grace and that like God's
Yeah.
giving you grace like while you're being silly and trying to rush ahead or do whatever you're trying to do. He's so patient
Yeah.
and so gracious, and a lot of
Yeah.
times we don't give ourselves that grace. Like we hold on to things that we regret or that we wish we had done differently, right? And
Good.
Jesus already forgave that on the cross. And I feel like if you are holding that, then you're not living in the true abundant life that he died for. It's like
Yeah.
he literally died for that. Like
Yeah.
if he can give you grace, you can give yourself
Yeah.
grace
It's so
and
true.
and move past it. So that's something that I've tried to remember
Yeah.
whenever I wish that I had, started sooner or knew things quicker.
Yeah.
Because a story that I've told myself is that I'm a slow learner,
Hmm.
and I don't want that to be my identity
Yeah.
because I don't want to, it's not. And so I don't want to like tell myself that,
Right.
but I just wanted to share that because I think sometimes as women, we think that we should have it like more together than we do, or we should be able to learn things faster or have different skill sets.
Yeah.
I know my fiance is like very process and systems oriented, and a lot of times I look at how he works and it's so much faster than me. He can do things just like that I wish that take me months to do,
Yeah.
and he does
Yeah.
it in like a day. He
Yeah.
created our wedding website yesterday,
Yeah.
and we're doing virtual invitations, and like
Uh-huh.
he created this whole like system flow for like these people are going to get this schedule and these people are going to get this schedule sent to them
So
whenever they
good.
RSVP, and that would have taken me forever. And he, and so also like realizing that complementarianism
That's
and
good.
how we complement each other with our unique gifts. And so don't wish that you were someone else because
Right.
you were created for a purpose and so uniquely that if you tap into that and heighten those strengths instead of
Yeah.
focusing on your weaknesses, you can glorify God all the more, whenever you live in that in such a way.
makes me think of that like candidness again too, because it's not just
Yeah.
about that. It's also about resources, but it's also about your gifts and your talents. And like if you
Yeah.
can be confident and raise your hand to your strengths just as much as you can be confident and raise your hands to your weaknesses, one,
Yeah.
it's going to give people again that other accountability to say like you're, because most of our weaknesses we think we're bad at, but we're actually not really bad at. We've just told ourselves that story so much that now it's a limited belief. And
Yeah.
so I think that there's like two parts to that. Yeah, sure. You might not have the gift of analytics and organization, but that doesn't
Yeah.
mean that you're not capable of analytics and organization. And
Yeah.
so I think that there's like two sides to that coin. But I
That's a
do
good
think
point.
when we raise our hands to our weaknesses, one, then we allow people to have access and permission to say, no, that's actually not true. Or interesting, I actually thought you were really A, B, or C, right? And you kind of have a new lens. But additionally, it does allow the person to say, that's okay. You don't need to be good at that. I've got that. Like me and my husband, I'm like, I am not good at cooking. I can be if I really apply myself to it. Like, I just don't care. I'm fine to have leftovers. I just don't
Yes.
care. I love food. I love it so much. And when he cooks for me, I'm like, you're a godsend. I love you so much. But it just doesn't matter. And so I don't put time and energy into it. And yet when he cooks, it's like such a treat. So we've just got on the same page at like, that's okay. It's totally fine. I'll bake for you when I feel like baking, and I'll make breakfast because I'm really good at breakfast. But we are a minute
Nice.
fast, so we don't even eat breakfast. So it's very rare. But regardless, like I really think that that's an important thing to do. And especially in this season, even when you're looking for a coach, and there might be people listening who are like looking for a life coach, is like, what are their strengths and what are their weaknesses? And stop looking at like the exterior of their brand, stop looking at like how many followers they have, and actually go and seek and get to know people. I think that's something that because people are so like adamant about that urgency thing, they're like, oh, I got to get a therapist. They just go with the
Mm-hmm.
best therapist that everybody says is the best therapist. And she's the most expensive therapist, so she must be the best therapist. And that therapist has nothing to relate to you with. There's no
Yeah.
connectivity, right? And so it's the same thing with life coaching. It's the same, definitely the same thing. Be asking questions to your potential spouse, right?
Yeah.
But I think that that goes with every single thing that we do. And we just take other people's word, or we just assume that the exterior validation points are enough, and then it
Mm.
falls flat. So I hope that as people are hearing this, they're hearing that like it's also a quest. It's a quest of getting to know people and to actually validating the next step with that person in their journey and yours.